What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like, remember to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification, put it on all, and you'll get notified of all our latest activities. So, as I was saying in a previous video, we had Canelo destroying Anthony Yildirim very quickly, 3 rounds. The coach pulls him out, and after the fight, after that, if you could call it a fight, at the exhibition, um, you had Eddie Hearn jumping in the ring and announcing officially that on May the 8th, we're going to now have Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders. And that's going to be taking place, as I've said, May the 8th on that, I think that's near or around Mexican Independence Day. So that fight is finally going to take place. So Billy Joe Saunders is going to get his shot at the big dog. He's going to get his shot at the money fight, at the main man in division. In it's not going to be not much longer to go, is it? I mean, well, we're in March, near enough March now, and March 8. You're talking just 8 weeks away, 9 weeks away. So yeah, that's good news, and it shows the intent of Canelo, and I respect him myself, because you know what, Canelo is at least doing the right thing as a boxer. He's trying to unify the division of super middleweight. He's trying to pick up all the belts. So for me, that's exactly what I want to see as a fight fan, because there's too much. I think there's too much fragmentation in boxing. Too many promoters that don't want to work with each other. Too many. There's too many times where people just sort of, you're in the same division as world champions, and one guy wants to go his way, the other guy wants to go his way. I think there's too much of that in boxing these days, and I think it's a great thing when we get a world champion who's willing to say, right, I'm not just gonna win a belt and then just stick with my own path. I'm gonna win my belt, one belt. I'm gonna win the other champion's belt, and I'm gonna clean it up until there's only one champion, and that's me. That's Canelo Alvarez, and I like that mentality. I think that mentality is old school, and that mentality is the right one for boxing. That's exactly what we need. A guy who's at least trying and unifying the division, because it's too rare. There's so many politics and stuff in boxing, so it's definitely going to be it's definitely good, and he's on the right track in fighting Billy Joe Saunders. Now, in terms of that actual fight itself, I don't really give Billy Joe Saunders much of a chance. I give him just a small chance. I think if I was to talk about percentages, I would say this is around something like 80-20 in Canelo's favor, because I think Billy Joe Saunders, he does have the attributes to mess Canelo about. He does have the attributes to make things very difficult for Canelo, because he's a guy that moves. He's a guy that's very agile, and he's quite good defensively. He's slick, and I think stylistically, his style, the slick southpaw who moves and who uses all of the ring, and who's can be quite difficult to hit. A guy like him is stylistically, at least, the type of guy that gives Canelo trouble. Slick southpaws, yeah, they will give him trouble. I think Canelo prefers guys that stand straight up and stand in front of him, like a Yildirim, like a come forward fighter. I mean, that's how he had certain success against Golovkin. And I think Canelo knows he's a good counter puncher on the inside. So when you're trying to fire on him, he knows how to just slightly sway back, and you can tell he's very good defensively. So if you're attacking him, I think that's what he sort of prefers. But at the same time, as we've seen earlier in his career, he's very good at going and getting guys. He's very good at cutting the ring off. So at the same time, and as I've said previously in other videos, he's been fighting back-to-back quality opposition, excluding Yildirim, of course, but he's been fighting back-to-back top-level opposition, and he's had no problem going up to light heavyweight. So I just think it might be a case of just in this fight too big, too strong, and I think Canelo will probably win this fight on points. I think Billy Joe will probably be slick enough and clever enough to sort of stay out of Canelo's way enough to not get put to sleep or not get knocked out. But I just don't think I don't think he can stay out of Canelo's way for 12 rounds. I don't think he can avoid the traps for 12 rounds, because as much as Canelo can be quite bullish, Canelo's also very good at setting traps. He's good at cutting off the ring and feinting, and so he's very deceptive in what he does. He's very clever and quite sophisticated in the way he attacks. And I think although Billy Joe has got certain attributes that he will give problems, but the chances of him winning, I would say, is pretty slim to none, I would say. Or much as he's a good fighter, he's quality, but I think again he has not fought anybody anywhere near the level of Canelo, both stylistically and skill wise. He just hasn't fought anybody to the level of Canelo, and also it doesn't help that the last fight he had, Martin Murray, I mean, that doesn't prepare you for Canelo. That's nowhere near the level of someone like Canelo. You know, in Canelo, he's been fighting world champions, and Saunders hasn't been fighting guys of any significant note of late. And I think that definitely leans towards Canelo heavily. He's been, not only do I think he's the better fighter, but he's been fighting the better fighters. He's been fighting the far superior opposition to who Billy Joe Saunders has been in with. So he's been fighting quality guys for a long time. So I think in every aspect, Canelo will win this fight and win it clearly on points, or I don't know about stoppage, he might be able to, but definitely quite clearly on points in my view. But let me know what your view is on this. Do you give Billy Joe Saunders any chance of upsetting Canelo, of shocking the world at all, or do you, like me, think that no, it's kind of a foregone conclusion, Canelo's the heavy favorite? Let me know what you think, and until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out. I'll catch you on the next one.